Late afternoon on a weekday in Portland, Oregon's downtown core, the fire department's Community Health Assess and Treat Overdose Response Team, a pilot program known as Chat 1, has been dispatched to a call. A man on a sidewalk, unconscious and not breathing.
How many did you get before we got here?
Last year, Portland Fire responded to 7,000 overdose calls. The month-old Chat 1 program aims to streamline the response to opioid overdoses. Firefighters believe it's already making a difference.
What are you doing?
Instead of sending a big red fire truck, a more nimble team in a pickup responds with focused tools like Narcan, the overdose reversal drug. They also help OD victims find recovery treatment, freeing up firefighters for other duties.
Overdose deaths have increased 600% since 2019. So that is incentive enough to get stakeholders in the right place at the right time to try and create some innovative solutions to the problem.
The trick with Narcan is giving the Narcan, giving it a chance to do its job. As first responders, our job is to give the Narcan, breathe for them, and then, then if we need to give another dose.
In 2019, Oregon saw 280 overdose deaths. 3 years later, in 2022, that number skyrocketed to 956 fatal ODs. That's more than the number of people who died in car accidents across the state.
But we find people down here a lot when we come up on overdoses. This area is pretty notorious for that.
While finding out-of-the-box solutions like Chat 1 to a problem such as opioids is important work, it is complicated, and no one program is going to be the complete answer.
There's a lot of amazing human beings doing amazing work and working really hard to try and ease some of the suffering, but denying the suffering is there isn't something that anyone should be doing.
Last month, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek and Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler declared a state of emergency in the city due to fentanyl crisis, marking a condensed period of collaboration and resources to try to tackle the epidemic. In 2020, voters in Oregon decriminalized possession of hard drugs under the belief that the issue was a health problem, not a crime problem. But now, some state lawmakers are working to reverse that law as part of a bill to slow the state's drug emergency. Haven Wheelock, who runs harm reduction of a Portland nonprofit Outside In, says returning to treating users as criminals would be a mistake.
We were in a addiction crisis, an overdose crisis, a housing crisis long before we decriminalized drugs, right? I don't want to go back to how it was in 2019 because it was bad in 2019.
What we're learning is that decriminalization took a tool away from law enforcement that I think they should have.
Third-party early research released last month found no association between decriminalization and overdose deaths, but many here now believe it was the wrong strategy in general or was implemented in the wrong way. And what its sponsor says would add some accountability. One proposed measure would be to boost hard drug possession to a misdemeanor with possible jail time and make it easier to prosecute sellers. Democratic Representative Jason Kropf is the co-chair of the committee hearing debate over drugs in the current session, not only about decriminalization, but how to create more pathways to recovery. A coalition of healthcare organizations called Oregon Recovers says the state is 50th in the nation in access to drug treatment.
I'm working as hard as possible as I can on this, and I realize when this session gets done, I have a lot more work ahead of us.
It didn't create the problem already existed.
Mike Marshall of Oregon Recovers says the state's mistake was decriminalization without ensuring enough treatment infrastructure. State data says Oregon needs 3,000 more treatment beds to get the addiction crisis under control.
We shouldn't be arguing about a criminal justice definition. We should first be arguing about how to intervene and engage people in getting better.
In the meantime, at street level, people continue to work on solutions to save lives in the very midst of the current crisis.
I'm not going anywhere, right? I am going to show up and serve our people as best I can.
Vanessa Mashania, Scripps News, Portland, Oregon.